Hi, I'm Adriana Baranek. You're watching UseWise YouTube channel. Here with me is Mladen Baranek, the CTO of Miadria. So, Miadria has had a UseWise channel for quite a while, and one of the things that you might not know about us, but you might have guessed, is that Google I/O is one of the key events each year that we follow very religiously and that we really enjoy. Last year, Google I/O was canceled due to the pandemic. So this year, we had huge expectations, and it was completely virtual event. Even though it was virtual, Google managed to surprise us and obviously many of the attendees that were selected in the drawing. So Mladen received this beautiful shirt and we also received some mug and some pins, and it was an amazing surprise. So it was not something specific for this video, of course, but it was given to many of the attendees all around the world. So Google I/O was happening between the 18th and the 12th of May. And if you haven't watched, check out the keynote by CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, and there were also keynotes on for developers, for Android, for many other areas. There were also many other sessions in great numbers that you can check out on YouTube. Basically, what we want to do is today we will be talking about things that are new for developers. And in the next week, we will be talking about what's going on for consumers. Obviously, since we are both developers and consumers, we were following it very closely. But just a disclaimer, of course, this is not an official overview of the Google I/O. This is just our view on what are some of the things that we found interesting. Google has made people's lives easier during the pandemic with many innovation and many information that they provided about the pandemic. We are very grateful to Google for existing and for being such an amazing company and such an amazing player in this crazy world that can help us thrive and do better, use the technology for our good. So, Mladen, can you please tell us what were the exciting news for developers?
So the developer news were grouped into 5 broad topics. So major news was related to Android 12 release, web and Chrome, Flutter, Firebase and machine learning. So regarding Android, there will be Android 12 released very soon, where many new features are introduced, especially regarding support for Google Assistant voice APIs. So until now, it was not really text-to-speech or speech-to-text API support for Google Assistant integration into applications developed on Android. Now that will be easily possible. There will be more support for different screen formats, especially larger screens and wearables. And Material U will be a new material design language used for Android devices. Of course, there are many new animations and UI controls to foster user engagement, and performance will be also improved by standby packets and foreground services to improve battery life. Regarding web applications, there will be new APIs, so it will be possible to manage native file systems through web applications. And there will be a new 3D API. So for example, it will be possible to render 3D objects on Google Maps. Till now, that was really a problem. Also, there will be a lot of changes regarding third-party cookies, so that there are many new technologies that needs to be introduced to enable change and removing of third-party cookies. So that will influence a lot of existing applications and existing use cases. So regarding Flutter, that is fairly young Google platform for multi-platform development. It was announced that there are currently more than 2,000 applications on Marketplace, and Flutter 2.2 with support for Linux, Windows, and Mac OS was presented. So now it is becoming really a multi-platform application development solution. There were a lot of news regarding Firebase, especially Firebase extensions, where a lot of third-party integrations are done through Firebase extensions that require much less code to implement into applications, and examples like Stripe integration for payment services, or Algolia for Firestore, so that you can have kind of very efficient searches and flexible searches, and many others. There are also Firebase remote configurations for A/B testing and performance monitoring news. So Firebase also received a lot of upgrades. And last topic, maybe the most important one, was machine learning. So regarding machine learning, Google introduced Vertex AI on GCP as a place where you can actually try everything related to AI on Google platform. But they also presented a number of new AI platforms like Lambda, that applies its knowledge of subjects to deliver better contextual results. There was a presentation of new Tensor CPU version 4 that Google implemented, and they are currently available. So they are implemented in pods, and with this new TPU chips, a lot more efficiency is provided to developers. And finally, there was a Quantum AI Campus where Google presented current efforts on producing error-corrected quantum computers, and they hope to have a fully functioning error-corrected quantum computer available by 2029. So that is a great news, and it was really very interesting to hear from people working on quantum technology.
Yeah, there were multiple sessions, Ask Me Anything sessions, and many different ways in which you can deep dive into various topics. So check them out on YouTube. We are very excited with all the news that Google presented, even though there were some people that were a bit disappointed that there were no announcements on many topics that were expected to have some news. But this is life. I mean, we shouldn't be really forcing Google to come out into the public with some exciting projects before they are ready. So we can definitely look forward to the year ahead, and the Google I/O is not the only place where Google announces their
Yeah,
news.
so for developers, there were really a lot of news regarding software platforms, but there were no really a lot of hardware
Yeah.
news, except this um, version 4 TPU and work on quantum
Yeah.
computers.
Yeah. Yeah. And regarding the Wear OS, there is a strong collaboration with Samsung, and Google as well now owns Fitbit. So there is also multitude of opportunities for developers to jump in and to develop for the Wear OS. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mladen. We'll be seeing you next week on our session for the news that will be presented to consumers, that were presented to consumers on Google I/O. Have a great week. Thank you so much, and see you soon. Bye.
Bye.